right. Hey, y'all. Sorry about this. I am pulling up my IG real quick. Hopefully everything's looking good. All right. Hello, everybody. Okay. I think we're good. Welcome to Oracle Talks. Welcome to Oracle Talks. So, as I just said in my stories, I'm dual streaming here and on YouTube. So if you see me switching where I look at, that is why. But I'm here. Hopefully everything is sounding good and looking good. Y'all know I'm not in a place where I have really high-speed internet. I'm hoping in these next few years that will change, but I'm keeping my phone and my data, so hopefully that will keep things looking relatively nice, because I get annoyed when the stream does not look nice. Anyway, how's everybody doing? Say hi to the Soul family. Let us know what you are drinking, what you're sipping on, etc. Where you're joining us from. I'm here in beautiful California. Right now, this is part of my breakfast, my protein shake. Yes, back on YouTube, for sure. I was feeling a pull anyway, but with the recent tomfoolery again that showed up with Facebook and Instagram, I was like, well, let me test another company and see how that works. So yeah, seems to be cool. So we'll see how it goes, and keep it pushing. So yeah. Tamila is eating pita chips with spicy bean dip, guacamole with water in Houston. Hey, that sounds yummy. All right, so as you know, we are doing Saturn messages today. Last week was a focus on the sacred Black. I wasn't calling them Pluto messages because I was told not to call it Pluto messages because it's really about everything like from Neptune and beyond, right? So like that dance with the sacred Black, the deep mysteries of divine feminine energy. So yeah, if you missed those messages, definitely check those out. That was on IG Live last week. I do have that in the description for YouTube, so hopefully that is showing. If not, of course, I'll check afterwards and put it in there, but it should be showing, so you can definitely catch up on that. The plan next week is to actually do Jupiter messages. So we'll do Jupiter messages next Thursday, 10 a.m., God willing. We're all still here. Hello, welcome, ATL. Let's see, we have Mayor Bear Hug with Earl Grey in Northern California with sativa. Okay, come through Earl Grey. Earl Grey is my favorite Black tea. Real Queen Essence says, how do I find you on YouTube? If you search, just do a search for Inner Alchemy and my channel will come up. So just Inner Alchemy on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, website, it's all the same. I'm not on Twitter yet. I may actually create an account before the end of the year just to have an additional backup. But you should definitely be on my newsletter if you're not already, but you can subscribe to that on my website, inneralchemy.com. But yeah, you can find me on YouTube at that. And on YouTube, you can also see past, much further past Oracle Talks, because the ability to save live broadcasts on IG Live is new. It's only came in within the last year or so. So all the Oracle Talks from before that, for the past few years, is actually on YouTube. So feel free to go back at that. Let's see, you got Leslie chilling in with water on the Georgia coast. Beautiful, welcome. Individually planned, about to have dinner in London, salmon pasta with broccoli and water. Beautiful, that sounds yummy. All right, so cookies. Cookies for breakfast. For Halloween spirit. I had to get an owl. All right. Hydrating. Oh, on YouTube, we got Hydrating with Water in Inglewood. That's Charisse. Hello, hello. Awesome. Oh, that's good. That's my first time getting those cookies from the farmer's delivery service that I get. They also do like a la carte stuff. It's actually really good. I got it from my ancestors, but they told me I could have one out of the batch, so I'm having that. Hot cocoa in the garden, beautiful. Okay, so everybody feeling good though? Or how are you feeling? Let's do a quick check-in. Also, how are you integrating the messages from last week? You did watch last week. How is that going? How is that feeling? What deck do I want to use? Let me know in the comments. Cookies and protein drink. Listen, this is how we roll. And I actually need more carbs. This is actually not enough carbs. But I needed something fast because I was running late being cute. So yeah, cookies for breakfast. Things you get to do when you're an adult. Yeah, how are folks feeling? I hope you're well. Let me actually push this back just a bit. There we go. All right. I'm feeling good. The weather has been gorgeous. We're actually starting to get cooler now. Fall and winter are favorite holidays, favorite holidays time, but also favorite seasons. So I'm really liking the energy. All right. I've been feeling tension this last week. All right. Let's see what card wants to come through for Saturn. I think I'm actually going to use, I have an idea of the card I want to use, but let me see if anything else comes up. Oh, okay. All right, so let's have everybody take a few deep breaths, settling into the body. Feel free to close your eyes if you need, if the mind is racing. But sometimes it's helpful to have the eyes open if the mind is racing so you can focus on a specific point or object in front of you. And start to deepen your breathing, which happens naturally when you pay attention to it. But deepen it in such a way where you are inhaling and exhaling just a little bit more than what your normal resting breath is. And do that for a few cycles. Allowing yourself to fully settle into this present moment for the sacred time, the sacred council of our soul family. Asking for and allowing that which is unknown in our deeper soul wisdom, or probably more accurately, what has not been accepted by our mind, to come forth and to be known, to be made conscious. As our time of review with this planetary energy in conjunction with the guidance of Earth and of heaven. Has now come to an end, and we're taking stock of what has come to our attention and what is now needed moving forward. Meeting ourselves fully where we are, not where we project ourselves to be. For those who are coming in, just do some couple deep breaths to allow yourself to settle into the energy flow. Okay, we're gonna, it's been a while since I've been asked for us to do this, but energy again is kind of all over the place for folks. So that means we need to ground again, which also means there's probably gonna be some deep messages just like last time to break through whatever is going on, the dissonance that's going on internally. So follow along as best as you are able. Pause whenever you actually have come to the completion of your inhale or exhale, but I'll lead you through a 5-count inhale with a hold and then a 5-count exhale with a hold. And we'll do 5 cycles of that. All right, so also do this mudra. Okay, so all fingertips pointing and have that in your lap while you do these cycles of breath. All right, let's begin. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hold. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hold. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hold. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hold. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hold. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hold. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hold. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hold. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hold. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hold. Return to your regular breathing, rubbing your hands together like this. And that should have brought a little bit more balance to you. If so, let me know in the comments. It should have balanced you nicely. Or help bring a little bit more clarity. I see hearts. Okay, that's good. All right. So it calms some of the frenetic energy, but there's still stuff going on. So just like last week, put in the comments what is showing up for folks, because I feel a fight. We already have the tower over here overlighting the message. So there's a fight. So what's going on? Hello, Teresa. Awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed. So yeah, what's going on for folks? What's the fight? What's the dissonance? What's the battle? It may be something that you are consciously aware of that Saturn has been taking you through over the past couple of months while it's been retrograde and you've been reviewing things. Or it might just be something else that is popping up now, but what's the deal? What's going on? What's showing up for folks? Let's get into it. Remember, these messages are co-created. So if you are needing something, show up, right? So what's going on? What's going on for folks? I will wait till folks start commenting, so we will really sit here for an hour and look at each other. All these people in here, I know things are going on because I feel it in the spirit. And if you were here last week, you know what's up. So it's straight savagery over here. Let's see, taking steps with my soul, leading me to new territory. So for me, it's that blank map feeling, nervous and excited. Yeah. Dark night of the soul for me. Give me a little more information about that, because that's a lot. These nodes, for just, right. The nodes, yes. I'm having trouble knowing what to do next. So it sounds like for some folks, at least, there's a need to slow down so you can even hear what's being said. Because soul is always communicating, but we might be going, either in our head or just with busyness. Or we may already be told and have been told what needs to happen, but we are resistant. Probably because the messages are coming through from a very authentic place, and we're afraid to be that authentic for imagined consequences, and or it might seem too easy, or it's too different from what's been in the past. Trusting divine timing and being patient during the wait, that part. But there's always things to do in the wait. Real talk. My boyfriend, who I moved to begin a new chapter with, he passed away 2 months ago. Oh, that's just straight grief. That's not like for these Saturn messages. You're grieving. So yeah, holding your heart, prayers for the safe and elevation of his soul. Prayers for the hearts of everyone, family, friends who've been left behind. And prayers for the healing of your heart for sure. Definitely go back and watch the Oracle Talks from August of last year in 2020. It's on my IG Live on the, just click on IGTV and scroll back to that. There's a channeling I did, I believe it was August of 2020. It was a grief healing meditation I jumped on when the news for Chadwick Boseman came through. So that was the catalyst, but it is basically an hour-long energy healing meditation and transmission. So please definitely use that. And that's actually for everybody. Please go back and reuse that, because that transmission was powerful. And like stay telling folks to go back to it because it really did a lot to help alleviate that initial stages of pain. New delayed grieving starting to emerge. Oh yes. Ooh, yeah, I'm feeling the grief. So is this a lot of grief for y'all? So there's a listening to soul, there's grief that's coming up. Trying to get my nervous system to catch up with things improving in life, difficulty feeling safe, harnessing joy, etc. Definitely understand that. I'm actually specifically doing that kind of work right now, resetting my nervous system. I would say breath work, excuse me, doing a lot of deep breathing when triggers come up, because they're going to come up, is going to be really important. You have to breathe yourself through the process so that the energy can release on that end. You might also like just doing a search on YouTube for vagus nerve resets. They're really easy to do, like 30 seconds to a minute. And that can kind of unlock, because the nerve runs from the head like down through the chest and into the belly. So doing that can help unlock a lot of tightness that can pop up really quick with panic, anxiety stuff in the chest, or also in the stomach, like when you grip and all that. So those are some quick things to use to help with that. Just to start. Fear surrendering to a big life transition. Yeah, and lack mentality surrounding that. Still adjusting to this new transit of Saturn, still hung over from Saturn and Cap. Yeah, feels like clear puzzle pieces. Living with a bit of terror, delusion, not feeling safe. You're welcome, reclaiming Dee Dee. Yes, the authenticity, the messages are loud and firm, and things seem to be happening very quickly, but I don't know what's next, so it's unnerving. Yeah. On YouTube, we have just over here trying to stay out of my head, constant fighting within, but taking notes and trying to stay in right action. The mind is a terrible thing to waste. Yeah. Teresa. Is this energetic? Like, what's happened recently, or where have you been recently that this has popped up? Because that sounds potent, and I want to definitely make sure I address it, because if it is energetic, then I can provide some guidance or insight for that. Thank you. Good start. You're welcome, Ro. But no, I get it as someone who's, for a lot of us, but, any trauma over extended periods of time definitely gets locked in the body, and retraining nervous system is a thing, but it's breath, and not leaning out of the stuff when it comes in, which actually probably is the biggest challenge, because like when you're in the middle of it, it feels like it's so much, and you have to really be able to gauge like when you just kind of need to numb out, and other times when it's something a little bit more short term and you just got to stick with it. But yeah, no, I get you. So I feel like this happened last time. There was like two general things that were happening at the same time. Or at least they appeared that way on the surface, but it ended up being the same message. So let me see. Oh, it's been happening since Breonna Taylor. Okay, and this is showing up in your heart? The nervous system retraining bit is hitting a deep chord. Thanks for the tips. You're welcome. But also another thing that I'm also discovering in my process right now is that we, in a lot of ways, don't. Again, for those who have experienced trauma, we don't really understand how much stimuli we're processing, both positive, neutral, and negative, because we're so used to heightened amounts of stimuli that even seemingly small things overload, right, the system. So this slowing down and really being conscientious and checking in with body and with how you're feeling and intuition and soul, like all of that, like it's needed, because more often than not, your soul, your spirit team is asking you to pull back significantly, because you might not actually be realizing how you've been on 100, right? And so when things pop up, because life is life and things are going to pop up, new things, right? Like we can't even handle those. And when you're doing retraining work or any kind of healing work, that also requires a lot of energy. So remember, I've said before, we always have 100%. But if we're doing any kind of clearing, releasing, healing work, that takes a significant amount of energy, which means there's less to put towards other things, but we're still trying to come at other things as if we have 100% to give over there, and we don't, right? So that's important to keep in mind. Okay, yes, so in the heart, delusion has an ex-friend of mine as the villain who's trying to break my heart, breaking in and breaking things to unnerve me feels so real. Long story. Oh, that sounds like you actually need to do cord cutting. That sounds like you actually need to do cord cutting. Okay, so the fear about what's next, which is a great problem to have, right? New things are coming. It's brand new territory. This is how you know it's new, because you don't know what to do, right? That's how you know you're in a new place. You actually don't know what to do. So congratulations to everyone who is in that space. I know it's not fun. Speaking as a fellow like Virgo stellium person who loves to control things, I get it. But it's a beautiful place to be. Right. Should have brought tissues. I should actually go get mine, because like I feel it. But so congratulations. And I'm excited for those of you who are in that nervous, excited, like kind of thing that's popping up. And then for those who are experiencing grief, big hugs to you in your heart. So let's see what direction we're going to go in, because if both things have come up, then there is a message for both. So we'll see what comes through. Ooh, deep breath. Make sure feet are flat on the floor, y'all. And I'm going to ask Mother Earth to support the releasing of any burdens that are truly not yours to be released from you. So make sure your feet are flat on the floor so that can happen. Make sure you're drinking water in this process, because anytime we do any kind of healing work, nervous system resetting, etc., we go through water like crazy, right? So again, we'll do for all the others in the situation, because I didn't do that. Thank you. Oh yeah, cord cutting's for you. It's not for them. It's for you. It's to, well, the way I do things, it's one, to clear your energy of them and prevent access for their energy into your energy. And then a strengthening and fortifying of the field. So I do cord cutting in 2 sessions, but if it feels like there's actual intrusion, that means there is intrusion. They are thinking of you or projecting into you or something. So boundaries on that for sure. But for the death stuff with Breonna Taylor and that triggering things for folks, yes. Real talk for everybody, but especially the Black women in this space, Black femmes. Like it's important, and I've been saying this this year. It's important to do some purposeful grieving around all of the death, the violent death that has occurred, much less the other death that's been occurring, right? It's really important, y'all. Just because it's news on the news channel, it actually does affect us as if it happened to a close friend or a family member. Death anywhere is death close at home. We're not ready to have that conversation yet. But at least if you have a shared identity with someone who's been violently killed, at the very least, yes, there is collective connection to that. And that's one of the things that Spirit to deal with me about, which is why I got forced to do my own grief work around this, because there is collective trauma, which we're a part of. And no, we don't have to process all of it or heal all of it, but at the place where it meets us, we do. At the place where it meets us, we do. Please do it before it gets forced, y'all. Y'all know these nodes are shifting and that South Node's going to be in Scorpio. Please do it before. I really don't want y'all to be going through it, because we're still going to have to deal with other deep buried stuff. But like, this is front and center in mind. Please don't be like, oh, I'll deal with it later. Okay, Libra has come out. Justice card. Okay, so I'm getting karma. So karma meaning the path or the balancing, right? Let's see, let's go a little deeper at this. I'm just getting an overview of like what direction we're going for this message. Let's see, on YouTube, he says, this is making a lot of sense now with the recent trauma with young women in London over this year. Yeah, not forcing to rush back into socializing when the society doesn't want to protect us. Yeah. And, you know, that's not to say that we have to live in fear, but the fear body gets triggered when the grief body isn't respected. Fear body gets triggered. Oh, that's actually the answer for you, Teresa. The fear body gets triggered when the grief body is not respected. Like true fear, versus nervousness, right? But true fear really only comes in when there's actual challenges to survival. The fact that fear gets activated so much is because other emotions are not processed. And so they get out of whack and then end up, and there's depending on your orientation, it seems like most people have orientation of inward implosion as opposed to external implosion. Outward language, inward implosion versus outward explosion. So it seems like most folks, at least that are here or drawn to me, do the inward stuff. So that is going to trigger the fright response in the body. So the fear response versus the fight, which would be the outward, right? And then the inward can go into fear. It can go into the fawn. It can go into the freeze. Depending. There's a lot of the fawn is a little bit more external related, but at least fear and freeze and fright for sure. So this includes rage, grief, betrayal. Take your pick. So it's not that fear isn't relevant, but it might be good, as we continue to do this walk with the great mystery, to ask fear when it pops up, who are you speaking for? Who are you speaking for that I haven't been paying attention to for whatever reason? Yeah, does that make sense? Is that resonating? Yeah, cool. Oh, the node shift in January, towards the end of January and next year. But we do have a new moon eclipse in the beginning of December. Okay, let's keep going. This will be a longer message today, but that's okay. Wow, okay. Glad that resonates. Moon, subconscious, that's also illusion. Intuition, emotional body. I think this is actually a lot of emotional body. Queen of Cups. Yeah, this is emotional body work. That's exactly what this is. Because you can see the difference in the clarity. How cloudy this is compared to how this should be as a perfect reflector. That's so good on fear. Thank you, Diane. I'm glad that resonates. That just came through. I did not know that was channeled, but it's makes sense. So I'll say off the bat, because this is what's coming through right now, it's safe to go deep. You're actually, I know it feels like in your mind that you would be overwhelmed, but you actually won't. Because the soul is showing up like this. It's strong, it's steady. And the processing of emotion doesn't have to be alone. I hope folks are, if there is heavier stuff going on or big changes happening, that you're working with someone, whether a therapist or a coach or a body worker or energy healer, whatever. But sometimes, you're not with them every single day. You're going to have to do some stuff on your own, but it's safe. it's safe to feel the emotion. It's right now, like it's not going to break you. And it won't overwhelm the system. It actually will be a release for the system. Yeah, that will be the thing that will help move things forward and at a pace that it's supposed to move. Knight of Pentacles. So this is how you also shift your karma. Okay, so I'm seeing now how this is relating now to the Saturn energy. So Saturn represents cycles. It represents karma, meaning the agreements that we make, the cycles that we're part of. It's not inherently negative, although people tend to put that on it. But it represents the things that we are bound by that are not in our control, like time, space, laws of the universe, right? As well as the things that we choose to bind ourselves to, agreements, etc. So, your family is a contract. Your relationships with others, platonic, romantic, whatever, are contracts. A job is a contract, right? Like those are things that you are binding yourself to. If you don't like the word binding, you can say agreements. If you don't like contracts, you can say agreements or whatever, but that's what it is, right? So, especially since this is overlighting here, if you want to break cycles that don't work for where you're wanting to go, or what has already opened up for those of you who are in that place where it's like new things, the way to break the cycle is to move through these emotions, whatever they are. Whether that's the nervousness and excitement and the not knowing what the next 2 or 3 steps are, but you just know the one step that you have to take right now and walking in faith, like that is also an emotional body retraining. It's just as important, like because you're in a new space. So you're like a child again. So you have to teach yourself how to do that. Same thing for those who are processing heavier stuff like grief or other nervous system stuff that's locked in memory. Like it's an emotional thing. But that's actually what's going to shift the karma. So this is good to know, because if it's the emotions that are here, that means that enough of the mental work has happened. Okay? So it's not that you don't know. It's not that you don't know. And even for, new things that are coming up and you're not sure what's next, you do know how to connect with your soul. You do know how to connect with your inner wisdom. You do know how to be in communion. You know what feels authentic. Like, so you still have the tools. You just don't have the plan or the process yet because you're at the beginning of something new. So even for those folks, you do still know. For the folks dealing with other stuff and like fear is taking over and you can't see anything else, befriend fear and ask it, who are you speaking for that I haven't been paying attention to? What else is here? Yes, I feel scared, but what else is here? What am I afraid of and why? And keep asking why. That's going to shift the karma. I i.e. shift the agreement. Because it has to be all levels of being. Spiritual or energetic, right? Mental, emotional, and physical. Everything has to line up if you're actually going to have a path that's not dominated by suffering. Because to be clear, you're still always going to be in your path. You're always going to be on your path. Like, you actually don't ever get off your path. You may slow yourself down, you may pause, you may stop. You're never not on your path. So with that being said, your path doesn't have to be one that is dominated by suffering and trauma. This is not to say bad things, quote unquote, bad things don't happen. Emergencies that, like, life will still happen. We are not promised. You've heard me say this. We're not promised not to experience pain. All things will always be made available to us. In the places where we have agency and power, we choose how long we stay with those things. And I'm saying that specifically because there are situations where we don't or might not have agency or power and we have to stay in something longer than we would prefer. But I'm talking specifically for what we have actual direct control over. You don't have to stay in something as long as you've had to in the past. Yes, Karen, fear, who are you speaking for? Mm-hmm. Ooh, and the why, 5 of Swords, right here in the center. So now the read begins. So, if you had tissues, you can put them away because I can feel energy shifting. So this is happening because there's way too much access that you are giving to people, places, things, circumstances, to your inner world, to your heart, to your sense of well-being. This is one of my favorite cards. Like, I already know. Sometimes I'll be a little different, but no, not today. This is a read. This is a call out. Because this is about boundaries. There's way too much access that people, places, things, circumstances have to internal world, sense of self, emotional body, your energy. It's too much. Mm-mm. So it's time to big up ourselves. I'm not surprised. Yikes. Listen. So we got to get ourselves strong and we have to center soul sovereignty. Taking our power back, not from others. Basically picking it back up. Because we keep putting it down unknowingly. We might not realize we're doing it. But yeah, too much access. So for some, this might mean, yeah, there needs to be some cord cutting. There might need to be probably, I'll see some energetic protection that gets put up. Or strengthen if you already have energetic protection. Let me check on that real quick. Because there might not be enough boundary making in the spirit as well. Yeah, there needs to be boundaries. I'm gonna start calling these cards the fuck around and find out cards. The King of Pentacles and the Queen of Swords. But protection. You see that huge ass shield, right? Let me show this down here too. Queen of Swords up here with the sword, head in hand. I guess that resonates. Too much stimulation, more meditation, and time with self. Okay, so folks need to step up their energetic protection. If you don't have anything in place, listen, that's gonna be a whole other tangent. All right, let's see how to walk through these next few months, because it is a Saturn direct message, so it's not just for the week ahead, it's for the months ahead. I'm gonna eat a little bit more of my owl cookie. Take a couple deep breaths. Okay. So these came out again. 3 of Pentacles is what we have to focus on. So like I said, big up yourself, strengthen yourself, empower yourself, and focus on what you know you need to focus on. That basically got brought up today. So take it as it resonates for you. Because what you're doing is not only creating balance, but you are literally working your karma out. So this isn't just, oh, I need to feel through my emotions. This is, I am literally shifting my karma. Is that big of a deal? We got also 10 of Cups and Knight of Swords. So hyperactive mind. And for some, boundaries that need to be in place for energetic boundary crossing. Look who showed up in the middle. Empress. This is who I actually was going to bring out first, so she still showed up. And underneath her is a Chariot, the Soul. Ooh, and the Hangman. Didn't we have 3 major arcana down the center just like last time? And I feel like these 2 came through. Am I making that up? Am I forgetting it? But I feel like that's what happened last week. Okay. And Ace of Pentacles in the environment. Was that also in the environment last week? Am I tripping, y'all? Like, I feel like I'm having a major deja vu moment. Or no? Let me know in the comments if anyone was here last week. If you remember. One moment. Okay, so I'm getting an affirmation confirmation that the reason why this is coming up now is because there's been a deeper integration with spirit. And so things are being brought to your attention that need to get adjusted so that you can continue progressing along the path. A shorter way to say that is you're doing a good job, keep going. Part of the reason why it is so uncomfortable is because it's diametrically opposed to the lightness of being and the fullness of expression that's already like been taking place. So your soul is helping you to move things out of the way so that you can continue to embody more of your authentic self, more of your true soul nature here in the physical, and more fully embrace your karmic path. But you can do this, you're safe. There's no overwhelm energy here, but this is part of the new path. Excuse me. Okay, Ace of Pentacles was, okay. So keep building upon the message from last week about listening to the soul. I know there was a lot that came through last week, but get quiet enough to listen. Slow down a bit. Doesn't mean that you're not going to accomplish the things that you need to accomplish. You will, but everything doesn't have to be in a frenzy. And also that reminder that just because we place value on something using words like this is a small thing or this is a big thing, that's not how spirit operates. So the small thing and the big thing take just as much energy. So you may, for example, may only do a couple of things on your to-do list which are small, and then your body wisdom, your soul is telling you to chill or shift into something that's a little softer or more flowy for the rest of the day, and you don't want to because you don't think that what you did warranted taking a break or taking it easy, because from your perspective, those little things wasn't a lot. But again, you're not understanding how much energetically that's actually taking. And again, like I said earlier, it might be really taking a lot because you're already doing other work, healing work, or opening up to new things. Creation energy takes just as much from you as healing, clearing energy. Still need the tissues. Let me clear. Right. So for those who are dealing with, the nervous system stuff or the whatever the more kind of heavier emotions are, if you're still processing that, a handful of things on your to-do list is like an 8-hour day. That's how it's registering energetically. So guess what you get to practice? Prioritizing what actually needs to happen on that to-do list, since your energetic resources are significantly limited because of the other work you're doing. Yeah. Things might really have to be spaced out a lot more than what you in your mind would prefer. On the flip side of that, you might be going through a lot of like positive life changes, a lot of big, maybe moves, new job, what have you, making plans for the future, business stuff. That takes a lot of energy. It's creation energy. And then you're still managing the other stuff. and then wondering why you're tired or you're frustrated or you can't fit it. You always have 100% energy for the day. Can you respect your soul enough to follow it and listen? If you're tired, go lay down. Tired doesn't mean you actually have to sleep. It just means you need to lay down or just sit somewhere and drink some water. You might only need to do that for 15 minutes and you'll be good. But if you're so dogmatic in either context, positive or negative, that you feel like you can't step away from the hyperactivity or proving that you're worthy of a break or a different pace. And I'll just say different because, for some of you, part of what you may need to challenge is this idea that you are supposed to move slow. Right? Like, I think there was somebody on here was worried about the new things are coming, like things are happening fast. And it's like, yeah, also spirit moves fast too. Can you move at the pace, whatever the pace is that you're being directed? Either without a fight or less of a fight. Because you actually, like, your 100 may be very different from someone else's 100. Your 100% might be very different from someone else's 100%. And so you might not be experiencing progress, or you might be getting in your own way because you're actually operating below your capacity. And then you get to unpack that. Why are you doing that? Are you worried about not being able to handle things? Are you worried about leaving other folks behind? Right? Strokes for different folks. I feel like it's a mix here, so I don't know what actually is going to be most dominant. I think it's a little bit of everything for everybody because that's how life works, right? Okay, I think that's our messages. Any questions? It's interesting that Saturn is bringing this thing about the emotional work, because we don't associate Saturn with the emotional stuff, but it's literally, this is how we address our karma. Addressing the karma is not just mindset shifts, and it's also not just action shifts. All of us is involved in the process. We can't separate. Can't separate ourselves. You mentioned protection earlier. Can you explain it for me? Is it spiritual protection, mind protection, soul protection? I'm assuming not physical. Energetic protection. But it's going to depend on the person. That's really only for those that there's boundary crossing happening energetically. But like, folks would know, like, it's not, yeah, folks would know. At least at this point, anyway. Because also, high key, like, we can't really get into a conversation about energetic protection if folks aren't doing this work, because you also have to be strong enough to maintain the protection. So But that's the boundary thing, right? Like a boundary is only as effective as its enforcement. And that requires personal power. So personal power actually has to be addressed first. And then you put in things those places to maintain personal power. Why do I feel like a read? Not for you specifically. I just felt like that was a read for the spiritual industry. Oh, shit. Listen, this North Node is about to be going through my 8th house, so there's just going to be a whole level of Oracle savagery over the next year and a half. Like, it's been petty Oracle for the past couple of years, but it's about to be Oracle savage. So I'm warning you with love. With love. That was amazing. I love you. Oh, thank you. Glad it helps. All right. Anything else before I really start acting up? Anything else? That's a good message, though. I'm glad it came through. When we're talking about energetic protection, but probably also any other types of protection, consent is a thing. So it's only going to be able to, at a minimum, be as strong as you are, if not stronger. But if you say yes to some fuck shit, like, you can't be defended against that because you agreed to it, right? But that's some spiritual maturity talk, because we have to come into radical responsibility for who and what we engage with and the reasons why. And just because isn't good enough. Let me put these cards away. Putting the cards away right now. Let me get closing messages. Let me get closing messages, and then I'm going to bounce. I mean, literally, perfect summation. Sent from the Hermit, my petty fave, but also the Hermit is personal mastery, and this is individual work. Yes, you may have support, but you are leading that work. It's on you. So 5 of Cups, emotional adjustments are what's happening. Again, regardless of the context, when we were talking about some of the different examples, but there is healing here. It's safe to do this work, whether it's a leaning into the new or the processing of past stuff. Boundaries, boundaries, boundaries with this 5 of Wands. So this is harking back to, this is our second 5, or actually the third 5 of the day. But this is harking back to that, bringing attention to people, places, things, circumstances having too much energetic access to you. So that could be personal identification with things, being way too concerned about other people when it comes to decisions that you make or what you actually really want. And of course, this can be energetic too. But it's just like, it's no more. As you do this work, Boundary needs to go up. High Priestess. The overflow is for you. It's not for service. Service to others, service through work. It's for you personally. Look who's hiding underneath that. The Hermit, the Devil card. This is going to be some tough work for folks. But it is very much about personal power. And our issues with control. Again, if it's the positive things, whether we can loosen the controls and let spirit, our soul lead, forget spirit, our soul lead, right? Or allowing for the release of control so that you can process emotions. But the overflow is for you, y'all. As you do this healing work, that does not mean all this extra lightness and brightness is to be deposited in others, regardless of context. It's for you. Your spiritual evolution, your growth. Full stop. What you have to give is already enough. What you have to give is already enough. All right, that is it. So if there's nothing else, we will bounce. Quick announcements. If you have not already, if you have not already gotten the recording, the Spiritual New Year channeling is available for purchase. It is for the full year ahead, autumn equinox to autumn equinox. We do go month by month, so we are still currently under the guidance for the Libra season. And then, of course, we'll be shifting into Scorpio very soon. I think end of next week or something. So you can get that at the link in my bio on Instagram. Or if you go to my website, I'll actually put that here on the banner. So you could do a banner on YouTube. If you go to my website and click on events, it will have the previous recording for that. You can purchase there. Enrollment for the Lightworker Incubator, the next cohort opens up next week, actually. So join the newsletter to be notified of that. You can read up on the incubator on the website. The application form is not up yet because enrollment's not open, but you can at least start reading about it. And I will definitely be coming on, most likely just IG and Facebook to talk about the program. I'll also be mentioning things in the newsletter and on social media. So definitely check that out if you are interested. That cohort will be starting in January. So enrollment will only be open for a month and a half. We'll close mid-December or the early part of December. Because I will be on winter break, and International Alchemy LLC will be on winter break. So we'll be closing early. So yeah, if you're interested in that, come through. Am I on Venmo? Yes. If you actually go to my IG profile, my PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App is there. The info is also in my newsletter, so sign up for my newsletter if you want that. Those come out every Monday. So I don't bombard folks with newsletters. Every Monday you'll get a newsletter from me. So that's there. I don't have it on my website because I don't want those are personal accounts. So those are just, personal donations for me. You're not buying a service, but I don't want my information up there. So newsletter or IG profile. But yeah, so that will be opening up. I'm really, really excited. I was talking to a client about this the other day about how geeked I am about the folks who are coming in for this upcoming cohort, because I can feel the shift energetically of like how certain things are now ready to start moving in a different way. So I'm really curious and excited to see who's going to be coming through for that. Like, yeah, I'm psyched about it. But yeah, so that's there. Again, I'll be giving more information about that over the coming weeks. So enjoy that. And I think that's it. Oh, there will be, for those of you who are new, I will be doing a 2022 astrology intensives. Those will be small group workshops. I'll only be doing them across 2 days, one day at the end of November and one day in the beginning of December. So I'll announce the dates in November for that. But just have that on your radar. Those will be the only ones I will do. I'm not going to be doing them one-on-one. I won't be doing any in January. At least I'm not planning on it. So if you want to get astrology for the year ahead, come through for those. The spiritual New Year channeling was spiritual guidance. And that was long. It was like 3.5 hours. So it's only $30 for that. That will not be the price for the astrology workshop, because that is a lot of energy. So that's a whole different beast. Anyway, okay, I think that's it for announcements. But yeah, I'm also still taking new clients. So you have until November 30th if you want to book a session if you're brand new to working with me. All other folks, you just book a coaching session and you just let me know if you want to do tarot or astrology in that. But yeah, new clients only through the end of November, and then books will be closed until the spring. So don't be in my DMs or sending me an email about if you can get a session after that time. Like, no. My books only stay open for returning folks, period. So new folks, get in when you fit in. All right. Love you all much. Of course, please share this with any and every person that you think would resonate with the messages. Check out that previous grief energy healing transmission on my IGTV. Again, it would be August of last year, 2020. And yeah, we should be good. Love you all. Bye.